Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. I hope you've missed me like I've missed you. Today I really want to talk about, I want to get more in depth, like get a bit more personal on my channel, because I'm actually quite shy, and I'm a bit like this with social media, not because I'm like nervous, but because I'm shy. So I don't really like share my personal stuff with that many people. But I have realized how detrimental that has been for like me, my daughter. It's not been good. But I grew up in such an isolated way that I was not only trained to not talk to people when felt like I was in danger, or if I felt like something was wrong with me, or if I needed help. It's just the only option I really had, because although I lived with people growing up, those people, they didn't like me. They neglected me. They ignored my birthdays. They started fights with me. They beat me up, kicked me out of the house, left me with no money. And I just generally was unsupported. So I think in as far as like psychology or therapy, a trauma specialist would obviously say that this is normal behavior for someone who's been through the things I've been through. And I just realized that the more isolated you are in life, the more you keep yourself to yourself, it actually makes you a target for people who like to target vulnerable people, or at least opportunists. So it's like this year has been really hard for me, because a lot of people have been coming at me with trying to, I don't know, I would say it's a bit more extreme than trolling, because it's real life trolling, like turning up at my house. Anyway, I talk about stalking a lot on my TikTok, but I've never gone in depth with a lot of things. Like, I've obviously introduced a few of the topics on here with the stalking and people. I obviously moved house, so for the first couple of months of being in this new house, I didn't feel like anything was going wrong. And then all of a sudden, I started waking up in the morning, things being left in the garden, it wasn't blown in there by the wind, like my gate's been broken by a physical human force of entry. And it's just like, it's obvious that whatever went on where I used to live is now followed me where I am now. And I've only given my address to like probably one person, aside from applying for stuff online. You know, like, you would think your information is safe, but obviously if you have any sort of name to yourself, or people recognize you from anywhere, your information is obviously at risk. So I think my information has been compromised, or this person or these people are persistent. Anyway, that's not what this video is about today. I am going to talk more about that in a couple of videos, like just expanding on what I spoke about previously. But today I wanted to talk about my injuries. And the reason I wanted to talk about my injuries is because I think a lot of people sometimes might think, like, even like where I went to uni, where I went to college, where I went to school, where I grew up, people might think, I'll never see her around anymore. She doesn't just, you know, like normally you just walk up and down the high street, do your shopping. I used to go to several different towns to pick up stuff, see people, and then all of a sudden I just stopped coming outside. Like, I know for sure now that that's because I have severe injuries. But do you know what? When these injuries happened to me, I think I suffered trauma and paralysis. So partly like realizing that I was paralyzed, I'll tell you how I come to realize that. But when you suffer paralysis, I think it also means in some ways you don't feel pain. So although I could tell something was wrong with my body, it was really hard to like seek out like exactly the points in my body where I was feeling it. But since I've moved house and I went to this new doctor and stuff, they've been really helpful and helping me to kind of like think clearly about what actually happened. So that leads me to my first injury. The first thing that happened to me is I got a severe concussion. And if you don't know what happened to me, there is a video where I describe that my daughter's dad threw me down the stairs, full force, picked me off my feet like this, and chucked me over a flight of stairs. I landed full force bottom of the stairs, and actually even doing that with my hand hurts, so I'm not even going to do too much right now. Yeah, I don't really think about it that much. Obviously, I had a 7-year-old daughter at the time. She's much older now, so, you know, now's the time for someone my age and in my situation to be thinking about their self and getting back on their feet after parenthood, single parenthood at that. But at the time, I was fearful for my life at the very instant when it happened, and I had to tell my daughter to run, and we ran together to the bus stop. He chased us down the road. This was a completely unprovoked attack, and I haven't actually seen him since this. So this was like 2017 time. So anyway, there is a video on it, and I probably will make another video, because the more I make videos and the more I talk about it, is the more clarity I have on the situation. Because let me tell you, the concussion situation, hitting my head on the floor, for the first couple of months after the incident, I kind of forgot. I think I immediately forgot what happened, not only because of concussion, but probably because of trauma. And when I was talking to somebody, I said to them, I hadn't seen him again since that, but I remembered that he turned up. I looked through my camera roll back to the time to see if I had any sort of like visual representation of what happened at the time. Wasn't really that active on my phone. Like everybody knows, I kind of kickstarted social media for myself in around 2015, just after that, or 2016. So I just came on social media. I obviously had a really traumatic experience prior to coming on social media. Came on social media as a bit of an outlet and just to kind of like get over things that I'd been through. And yeah, he stopped being a dad around about that time. And I don't really know what provoked him, but in that video, when he came to visit me, he started talking about child maintenance. So he came to my house, and I was like, why have you turned up here, jumped the fence, tried to make your way into the property? I started recording him for obvious reasons. And in that video, I do mention the times he's attacked me before. So, you know, I didn't really make much mention of him throwing me down the stairs, because I obviously was very, very traumatized at the time. But I was very scared, and he started saying some evil things. I want to insert a clip, but I probably would just upload the whole interaction. I haven't uploaded it yet, but he starts going on about, oh, you think you're going to get child maintenance? You tried this before and it's not going to work, da, 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 all this horrible stuff. And that was the last time that we saw him, me and my daughter. So yeah, the injuries I suffered are very severe. They've gotten worse over the years. It's gotten worse, obviously, with gaining weight, because I was always a healthy weight before. And I was a healthy weight up until around 2020, when I started to like find it difficult to get up, walk, do my normal routine of exercise. Like, I used to be a dancer. I used to be able to do lots of really good things with my body. I could stretch, do yoga. I could do most of the advanced poses. Like, now I can hit some of the poses, but I'm in a lot of pain. So when I kept trying to keep up with my normal routine of staying fit, jogging, doing all of that, I started to notice like I couldn't walk. And obviously being concussed, I kind of don't think I made the association between that injury and what happened to me, which is, I think, the saddest part. My daughter got very sick the following year as well with an autoimmune disease. So our life changed a lot. And anyone who's been on my channel before, you know, I don't have like family. I'm basically by myself. So my dad died, and he was the only person who I really had like a proper connection with. But I don't have any family. So when she became sick, it was just me at the hospital. I didn't have anyone to call to say, you know, can you help us get things from the house? It was me going back and forth from the hospital. And I completely lost track of myself. Everybody knows, if you're a carer for a disabled child, that in itself, the carer's role is said to create new illnesses mental health and physical illnesses that weren't there before, simply from the strain, especially if you don't get respite, especially if you don't get weekends off. And it's a very unique situation to be in, that you don't have a babysitter occasionally, or I mean, it's not that unique for some parents. It's an everyday job being a parent, but for a lot of parents and people where I'm from, it's not an everyday thing. It's a most of the week thing, and you're free to do what you need to do when you get sick. But obviously the reason I didn't go to the hospital when I was immediately thrown down the stairs is because I didn't have any childcare for my daughter. So, and I also, it might sound weird that I was so isolated and I didn't have many friends at the time, but there is a very, very feasible explanation as to why I ended up like this at that time. Obviously now I have a few more friends and people to talk to, but at the time I couldn't go straight to the hospital. I was scared, number one, that me turning up to the hospital needing to stay overnight or whatever, where was my daughter going to be? What was going to happen to her? So I suffered. I went home and I just concentrated on being with her. And I am going to do like a little slideshow of the years between like the things we've done and me being a parent. And I have fought to be a mum. I've fought to actually make sure my daughter has as normal life as I can create for her. So I did have a rough time after he threw me down the stairs in that aspect. The following year, my daughter becoming sick. But as for physical injuries, the concussion, as I said, the first thing that happened to me was the concussion. This was nearly 10 years ago and my head is still tender to the touch. So I don't know if it's a permanent injury or something. Like, I'm kind of anti painkillers and anti any other pain relief because, you know, numbing yourself isn't always the answer. I will occasionally use the ibuprofen. I will occasionally use things that have been prescribed in recent months, but I haven't had painkillers before. So my head's always tender to the touch. I can't like keep my hair in a ponytail for like ages or have really tight hairstyles. Like, this headscarf is not, it's not tied very tight, but it will come off after I've done my video because I can't keep this on for hours and hours. So with the head injury as well, I've noticed like I've started to stutter a lot. I've lost vision in one eye, so my eyes are quite blurred. So that's rough. I've always had poor eyesight anyway, but I don't know, if you look at me, you can see that my two eyes, I'm not looking straight into the camera right now, but if you look, you can see that this eye has a different shape and this one is like this and this is more round, but my face never used to look like that. Obviously, over the next couple of months, oh look, I have a picture here that was taken in, this picture was taken after I was thrown down the stairs, but you can see that my face shape was different. My eyes look different. So obviously, like, this side of my face is less round now. Like, I don't have the same symmetry. This is round, this is more flat. And you can see my head has always been an egg shape. Like, I've always had an egg shape. And now, even though with the excess weight and aging, obviously, but this part of my head, so it makes me like a bit extra tired sometimes. Like, so a bit of fatigue. Memory loss is severe. My memory loss is very patchy. I've spoken about memory loss over the years with multiple people. A lot of people can't understand my memory loss because I've never spoken about this. So this is why I'm making this video as well, is because a lot of people question why I say I can't remember things. But I did have a serious head injury. And this is my second head injury. So the first head injury was, I don't want to talk about it in this video, but it was self-inflicted. I was very young and I was having such a bad time that, yeah, I did something I shouldn't have done. So I can't blame some of the illness that I have on being thrown off the stairs. But obviously that was when I was 15. So I obviously had 15 or 10 years of dealing with that to know that this injury is definitely the most impact that I've had on my head. So yeah, like my speech has changed. Yeah, it's a lot, and I think it would take a specialist to discover like what the proper injuries are, which I am working with specialists now to like look into the exact thing that's gone on, because obviously I've only just spoken up about it. I was in fear of my life, and as I have said, and I will keep saying, when I moved house, it changed everything, because he doesn't have my current address. So, you know, it gave me every reason to go forward to the doctors and explain to them what I'd been through. But yeah, the head injury is worrying. I hope that it's something that I can overcome. I'm still fighting. I'm a fighter anyway. I'll always fight. But yeah, like I said, if it still hurts, you know, then something might need to be done to help me to soothe the pain in my head. It's been 10 years. And this pain travels down here. So I get like ear pains. And yeah, so this side of my head is yeah. And then I want to show you some of my injuries, but I'm just going to talk you through them, and then I might do like a silent video with something, because I don't want to change all my setup at the minute. But I can show you like here. If I move this camera down, I was looking today at the difference between, just like moving on, you can see I'm going to hold the phone in this hand, which is my left hand, which is this hand. You can see that my shoulder obviously doesn't, this is me relaxing my shoulder. You can see my shoulders, you know, this is the lowest I can put my right shoulder. It hurts when I move it. I have limited movement in my right shoulder, and when I move my right shoulder, it hurts my back a lot. So yeah, this shoulder, I was at physiotherapy, and I was talking to the doctor about this as well, and I was saying like my shoulder's really swollen, and not only that, like this pain travels all the way down here to my wrist, all the way into my hands. So if you look at my hands, like this hand has limited movement. I can go like this, and this one, if I try to move, it doesn't move. It don't move. My hand don't move. But I'm left-handed anyway, so it's not something I would have picked up on straight away. But obviously it's gotten worse over the years. I can't lay down on my right side. Too much pain. This hand does everything. This one, limited movement. So I have that with my hand. Obviously that's because when I fell right onto this side, onto my shoulder. I was holding something in my hand, which I've described. So that has basically kind of crippled that. I've only been for one massage, and I do genuinely believe that I can be helped. It's not like I have no hope. It's just I've never spoken to anyone about it properly, and it makes it easier to kind of like just tell everyone at once who's interested, instead of trying to repeat myself over and over again. But yeah, so you can see my hand's quite swollen, and it stays like that. It stays quite swollen. It's kind of misshapen. If you can see, it's not, you know, right? So that's that. That's very difficult, because I work with my hands. So shortly after the injury, like I started back my hair business, like braiding hair and stuff. And I kept getting people coming to like try and support me. I've got pictures on my Instagram. You'll see like I started doing hair in around 2018 to 2020. And these people, like, they were trying to help me. They kept trying to like promote me. They were starting their music career, and they just kept saying like, you can do our hair and stuff. And obviously it was meant to be some kind of mutual thing, but they couldn't understand why I kept saying like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't stand up for 3-4 hours to do one hairstyle. Like, I never told them what happened to me, because like I said, that's how I was raised. You know, if you've got problems, you keep it to yourself. I obviously know better now. So I basically had to like stop doing hair. Like my neighbours and everyone was supporting my hair business. The local couple of girls in the local community were trying to get their beauty treatments and stuff. Everyone knows I started a beauty business. So because I don't have two hands like that anymore, I can't really braid that well. I can braid a little bit. And I can't stand for very long, obviously. So that's the shoulder and the neck. So my neck, you can see a bit of like swelling here. You would probably know better if you knew me. You'd see like the difference in my body on this side, but obviously my shoulder and my hand is quite severe. And then my hip is one of the worst injuries because when I walk, it pops in and out, like the joint pops in and out. So it's hard to walk without the stick, the walking stick that I'm now using. Not walking stick, but a crutch. And I walk very slowly. So if you, like, another thing is if you see me on the street looking like crazy, walking slow, yeah, that's because I physically can't run. I physically can't walk. I can barely take stairs. So the hip is very painful. I can barely lift my leg. It's a lot. Like, probably not gonna go into everything in this video just because it is overwhelming to talk about everything at once. Knowing that this happened to me, not even from something that I did to provoke somebody, it's just a person who's prone to abuse and their family has a history of abuse of women, and I fell into this situation. Obviously, I'm an optimist, so God is good, and I see it as like him doing this to me has meant I never have to be around him again. I never have to make an excuse to not be around him. I have every reason to now tell him he needs to like stay away from me, which is, some people are stuck in situations where they can't get out of. But he's a narc, so he won't admit that he done this. I've tried to confront him several times and he would just say, oh, you're a liar, I don't know what you're talking about. And yeah, it's not a person that you can get an apology from or a person that you can get to see the wrong in what they've done. As I said, I think he done it because I tried to apply for child maintenance. When I look at that video, might not have been. He might have just been the crazy person that I think he is. And I'm not even going to think too much about why he did it or make excuses for him. So yeah, I've got my hip, which, like, obviously my shoulder makes it difficult for me to do demonstrations. But I used to be able to do that yoga pose where you lift two legs out in front. Like, say you lift both your legs up. And now I can do the left side. Like, my left side is perfect. It works how I can do most things with my left side. But the right side is so painful. And I have attempted a few with my, like, my more, like, I don't know how to say it, like, moves that I find easy to do. And I'll be out for, like, 2 weeks. Like, pain, like, ow. I thought I could do it, but I can't. Muscle spasms. What do they call it when you pull your muscle? I pull my muscle. Obviously my leg pops out of place a lot. It's so painful because I have to pop it back in, which is extremely painful. Spasms in my leg, and I obviously have quite a serious bit of paralysis, so there's parts of my leg that I can't feel. So I can poke it, pinch it, scratch it, and there's no feeling in some parts of my leg. Moving onto my knees, which I think have become slightly arthritic from everything, just the weight gain in general, not being able to walk and everything. So my knees now make a really clicky sound when I'm walking around. And then moving down to my foot, I have fractured this foot before from trying to do things that I used to be able to do. So I do have an existing ankle injury. I've sprained and broken my ankle a lot of times in the past because I used to have knock knees and that, so I always used to break my ankles. So the ankle thing doesn't bother me as much, but my toes, the middle 3 toes, I have paralysis, so I can't feel them. So like, what happened is the physio gave me exercises to do, which made things absolutely worse. But I think he was trying to test to see what I was capable of. And then I got feeling in my 4th toe. That was like a couple weeks ago. And oh my God, I'm telling you, the feeling that I felt was like my toes were broken, but it's gone back to numb again. So I could kind of feel my fourth toe as of the last couple of weeks, but the middle two toes, zero feeling. So I'm scared to walk and put pressure on it because I don't know if it's actually, yeah, so it's quite severe. And then there's my back, which obviously the impact of hitting the floor on my hip and everything, I don't know if it moved my back or what happened specifically to my back. As I said, I'm working with a specialist who will hopefully give me an answer, because I'm not a hypochondriac. It's not like I'm imagining these injuries. Like, there definitely was an event that took place which I think caused them. So hopefully the specialist can come back to me with a proper answer. I'm hoping it's not arthritis in my knees and my hip. There is something called like post-traumatic arthritis, which you can get from having a sports injury or falling over, like certain types of injuries. So I'm worried based on the symptoms that it could be that, but fingers crossed, you know, touch wood, it's not. And yeah, rehabilitation is what I'm looking for, is what I'm praying for, I'm hoping for, because if I could be rehabilitated and I could get my hand from staying locked in this position, then I'll be really happy. I obviously have a goal. I know that anyone who's a supporter or a supportive person would want to help me see this goal through. I want to run a 5K. I don't have a time limit on it because I don't know how long it will take for me to be able to get up and jogging properly. But that is a goal set in my mind. I'm manifesting a 5K run. A lot of people have been made paraplegic, have had serious injuries where they've been told they were never going to walk again and have got up and literally overcome. So I have every hope. And that's another reason that I didn't address the issue before, because I thought, you know what, I'm just going to fight like what I normally do. I use my body a lot and I like high impact. I used to like high impact sports and everything. And I thought I could fight it. And I thought I could just get in the gym and just work out, but it's a bit more complicated than that. Which obviously why I'm sharing this with people, because I had high hopes for my social media, like I would be a fitness influencer or somebody who's promoting activeness and fitness. I obviously feel like I've let people down who have expectations of me, but not let them down in that sense. But it's important for me to explain that there is a reason why I'm not sharing. Like, I was supposed to be doing my dance classes and yoga classes. There's a reason why these things haven't happened. And I was attacked brutally by somebody who's a very violent individual. And I think they meant to see me break in this way. As I said, I just came on social media. I was just sharing my ideas with the world about what business I was going to start and how I was going to use my skills to like promote fitness and stuff like that. And I think based on what he said, although he's never left a comment on my social media, he's told my daughter that he's seen my social media. Maybe that got to his head. Maybe I changed a lot. So I don't know if he saw something that he wanted to put an end to. I can't get in the mind of a person who does something like that. I won't try to, because I'm not a professional psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't tell you why he did that to me. But I'm also sharing this video because of the newfound hope that I have felt since going to the doctor and talking to them about, like, not to take it too seriously, because I initially went to the hospital and said, like, I think I need a wheelchair. I haven't been able to walk for months and I'm now on a crutch and it's getting worse. And she just looked at me and was like, you should never think something like that. You need to keep trying. And that's what I'm doing based on those words. Obviously, I've tried to exercise. It's very painful. But I'm hoping maybe there are people out there who have been through this, who can help me to develop the right mindset. Maybe you've had a serious injury and been through the pain of gym and trying to get fit again. I don't know if, you know, there's anyone who can share that with me. I'll be so grateful. And yeah, those are my injuries for now. I'm gonna keep updating the journey, like when I find out if these injuries are severe, as I think they might be, or if they're not. And just try to like document my journey of trying to get fit again and stuff. And also, if you could give my video, I did a video in the gym a couple of years ago, and that was like a big deal for me to get back in the gym. At that time I was trying really hard, and it did knock me out for ages, and I didn't go back to keep doing that. It was something I was going to keep doing. There was a dance studio there as well, and I could not understand why my body was letting me down like that, but obviously some likes there would give me some encouragement. If you could have a look through my playlists or uploaded videos. And yeah, I mean, I feel like that is pretty much it. My next video I'm actually going to make straight away. It's going to be about my experience at the court. Oh my God. I don't think you're supposed to share court documents and stuff on the internet, but this is getting shared. Like, I need to explain what I've not been given a chance to explain yet. I'm in court in a couple of weeks, but my experience so far has been tough, and I don't know if there's anyone out there who's been through the court system trying to get justice for various things, but this stuff is not easy. It is not easy. So I'm going to share the judgment that was sent to me, and I'm going to explain some of the errors that I think the court has made. But for now, yeah, that's me on this one. And yeah, wish me luck on my journey back to health. And for anyone who's going through the same thing, obviously wishing you the best of luck as well. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.